Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kinda Lincoln. Kinda, thanks for being here. Okay, so we just heard from Rachel Bentley talking a little bit about fair trade. Now, what does fair trade mean to you and Raven and Lily?
Right, so being a member of the Fair Trade Federation and a certified B Corporation, we're held to a higher standard when it comes to worker well-being and having a positive social impact. And we live our values across three main pillars, being women-led, community-driven, and footprint-conscious, with a particular focus on creating economic independence for women. We're 100% women-led. We have 70% in our global community are women, and they're involved across all areas of our business. And over 65% of women are mothers. So our artisans receive a living wage, and it's in a consistent sort of manner. They are in a safe working environment with access to things like paid maternity leave and flexible work schedules. But as well as being very purpose-driven, we're a products company with ambitious growth goals. And so this year we've launched 7 new customer acquisition channels and engagement platforms to support our growth. So we want to grow and expand, but we want to do so in a way that is that benefits all of our stakeholders. Our vision is to become known as an international accessories brand that's known among consumers who want to align their personal values with brands that are doing good in the world. And this market of conscious consumers is growing significantly.
And it seems like it's grown even more since the pandemic began. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot more engagement, a lot more attention, being fair trade and ethically producing product. We had a 235% increase in our click-through rates on social media, largely from millennials and Gen Z. And I think what's caused this is best explained in a McKinsey report called the State of Fashion 2021. And they identified 2 significant consumer trends that were accelerated by the pandemic. One is that more consumers are shopping online, and the second trend is that more fashion consumers are becoming aware of worker well-being and social justice, which are strengths of our brand and our business model. As an example of a way to kind of highlight just this, that there is more attention and how that's kind of came to be, there's an organization called Remake who launched a social media campaign at the start of the pandemic, and they were calling out brands who had canceled orders and just highlighting the negative effect that was having on fashion workers around the world. And by going out on social media, Remake brought a lot of attention to it, and they got enough consumer report that these fashion brands then paid up to the tune of $22 billion in recouped orders. So in December, Remake published a transparency report, and they called out offenders in sustainable fashion. They highlighted brands who were getting it right and others somewhere in between. And Raven and Lily was highlighted as a rock star. So in their top category, we were one of 10 brands who were leading the way in sustainable fashion. So we were...
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. We were proud to be recognized with brands that we love, like Mara Hoffman and Patagonia. We were also recognized by Adweek as a sustainability star for our efforts to make progress towards the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we were recognized along with other purpose-driven brands like Ben & Jerry's and Patagonia, and as well as other like larger brands that have very impactful sustainability initiatives like Danone, Dole, and Uber, and others. So throughout all industries, we're really seeing that brands are appealing to this growing trend of consumers who are using their purchasing power to support brands that they love.
So there's a lot of bigger brands, massive brands that are now trying to act more sustainable, or give that impression, whereas you started out sustainable. But how do you scale up to get big like those brands?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think of scale across like 3 main areas. The first is our team. We have over 40 years combined experience in product design, merchandising, global sourcing and production with luxury and designer brands such as Givenchy, Proenza Schouler, Tory Burch, Kate Spade, and Simon Miller. So that combined with my background in business and finance, growing and scaling product companies and consumer brands, we're used to building and scaling, much bigger businesses, right? And so now we're going to add another layer, adding an advisory board, and we want to bring that growth mindset from people who've scaled some big unicorn consumer brands in Austin. And a second way that I think about scale is within our supply chain. We're adding 5 new partners. We're doing new product development. We're also expanding within our existing partners. They have plenty capacity for growth, and that's based on long-term relationships that we have with them that we've built up over the last 8 to 10 years. And there's very good examples of using artisan supply chains at scale within luxury fashion. For example, Chanel uses handcrafted lace from within their artisan network, and Tiffany & Co. uses hundreds of artisans. And we're talking to them about developing a playbook of best practices for working within artisan-based supply chains. And then lastly, I think of scale as, from a demand generation perspective. We, and this is an area of the biggest potential growth opportunity for us. We know we need to expand our marketing team. We need to invest in brand awareness. And we're gaining access to the growth capital that we need to be able to invest in content creation for telling our story, new customer acquisition, and expanding our digital platform. By doing this will give us the ability to be able to expand within that growing market of conscious consumers.
Now, last question before we go. How the name Raven and Lily? Where did that come from?
It's just something that our founder had come up with. It was something that was very close to her heart. Like, she was very passionate about the mission, and so it's just a beautiful name that we've kept. It's something very special for her.
Wonderful.
Great.
Well, let's give a round of applause to Kinda Lincoln.
Thank you.